fishermen stepped carefully into the muddy waters of the Nile just before sunset. The air was heavy, humid, and silent except for the distant cry of birds vanishing into the darkening sky. To anyone watching from shore, the river looked calm, peaceful even, but beneath the black surface something ancient was already watching him. Then, without warning, the water exploded. A massive reptilian body erupted upward with terrifying force, jaws snapping shut around the man's torso before he could even scream properly. Witnesses later said the river boiled violent for only a few seconds before everything became still again. No roar, no warning, just silence. That is the true horror of the Nile crocodile. It does not hunt with rage. It hunts with patience. It waits in complete stillness, hidden beneath the water like a living trap, until the perfect moment arrives. And when it strikes, death often comes faster than the human mind can process what is happening. The Nile crocodile is not simply another predator lurking in African rivers. It is one of the oldest and most perfectly engineered killing machines on Earth. Long before humans built cities, before civilization rose from the dust, crocodiles already ruled the rivers. They survived mass extinctions that wiped out creatures far larger and more powerful because evolution crafted them into something horrifyingly efficient. Some males grow over 20 feet long and weigh more than a small car, but size alone is not what makes them terrifying. The true nightmare lies in their cold-blooded intelligence. Nile crocodiles study patterns. They learn migration routes. They observe the behavior of animals and humans that visit riverbanks every day. Researchers have even documented crocodiles working together to trap schools of fish or ambush prey at predictable crossing points. This is not mindless violence. It is calculated predation sharpened by millions of years of evolution. What makes the Nile crocodile especially dangerous is its ability to disappear completely into its environment. Only its eyes and nostrils remain above the waterline while the rest of its massive body stays submerged in darkness. To prey animals, the river appears empty, safe. But hidden below the surface is a muscular reptile capable of explosive violence. Specialized sensory organs along its skin allow it to detect the slightest vibration in the water. A struggling animal. Footsteps at the shoreline. Even the movement of a hand trailing through the current can alert the crocodile instantly. Every inch of its body is designed for ambush. Thick armored scales protect it like medieval plating. Its tail acts like a giant propeller, launching the creature through water with shocking speed. And unlike mammals that waste energy constantly hunting, crocodiles can remain motionless for hours, even days, conserving strength while waiting for the exact right opportunity. Then there is the weapon that truly makes the Nile crocodile infamous: its bite. Scientists measured the bite force of large crocodiles at over 5,000 pounds per square inch, one of the strongest bite forces ever recorded in the animal kingdom. That pressure is enough to crush bone as if it were dry wood. Their jaws are lined with conical teeth built not for chewing, but for gripping. Once those jaws lock onto flesh, escape becomes almost impossible. But the crocodile's most horrifying attack does not end with the bite. It begins there. The predator immediately drags its victim underwater and performs what is known as the death roll, a violent spinning motion that tears flesh apart, snaps limbs, and drowns prey in complete chaos. Victims often vanish beneath the surface before anyone nearby fully understands what happened. The attack is so sudden, so brutally efficient, that survivors are extremely rare. One of the darkest examples of the Nile crocodile's deadly nature emerged from Burundi, where locals spoke in fear about a giant crocodile known only as Gustave. Stories about him spread for decades like whispered legends around river villages. Some claimed he exceeded 20 feet in length. Others believed he killed hundreds of people over the years. Whether every story is true remains uncertain, but the fear surrounding him was very real. Witnesses described a crocodile that seemed unusually bold, targeting fishermen, swimmers, and villagers collecting water near the shoreline. Attempts to kill or capture him repeatedly failed. Traps were destroyed. Bullets reportedly bounced off his scarred hide or failed to stop him. After every disappearance, the river would return to silence as if nothing had happened. To many people living near those waters, Gustave stopped being seen as a normal animal. He became something closer to a monster, a reminder that certain predators no longer fear humanity at all. Another chilling incident occurred in Uganda near a river children crossed every morning on their way to school. Villagers warned them constantly about crocodiles, but after years without attacks, fear slowly faded into routine. One morning, as several children moved through shallow water, a massive crocodile erupted upward from beneath the muddy surface. Witnesses said the attack happened so quickly it barely looked real. One child disappeared instantly beneath the water while terrified screams echoed across the riverbank. Search teams later discovered drag marks leading into deep channels where crocodiles often hide while waiting for prey. The attack permanently traumatized the community. Parents no longer allowed children near the water alone. Because once a crocodile learns human routines, those routines become predictable hunting opportunities. Tourists visiting African rivers often imagine beauty and serenity, golden sunsets, exotic wildlife, peaceful flowing water. But hidden beneath that beauty lies ancient violence. During one safari excursion, witnesses watched a herd of wildebeest crossing a river at dusk. The scene appeared calm until the water suddenly exploded beneath one of the animals. A massive crocodile burst upward and clamped its jaws around the wildebeest's head. Within seconds, several more crocodiles emerged from below, turning the river into a storm of blood and churning water. The death roll began immediately. Bones cracked audibly while the terrified herd scattered in panic. The tourists later described something deeply unsettling about the attack. The crocodiles showed no emotion whatsoever. No fury, no excitement, only cold efficiency, like biological machines carrying out a task they had perfected over millions of years. That may be the most terrifying truth about the Nile crocodile. It kills without emotion. Lions roar, wolves chase, sharks create panic, but crocodiles remain silent. They drift beneath the surface like shadows from another era, watching patiently while the world above relaxes into a false sense of safety. And when the strike comes, it feels less like an attack and more like the river itself suddenly deciding to kill. Evolution transformed these reptiles into perfect ambush predators because they do not waste energy, they do not panic, and they do not hesitate. Every movement is deliberate. Every attack is calculated. In the crocodile's world, survival belongs to the patient. For millions of years, the Nile crocodile has remained nearly unchanged because nature already perfected its design. It does not need venom. It does not need incredible speed across land. It does not need claws like a tiger. Its true power comes from inevitability. Once you enter its territory, once you step too close to the water's edge, the balance of control changes instantly. The river no longer belongs to you. It belongs to something ancient, silent, and merciless waiting beneath the surface. Humans often believe we dominate nature, but places still exist where ancient rules continue to govern life and death. And in those rivers, the Nile crocodile remains king. Nature does not forgive. And these killers do not show mercy, respect the boundary, or pay the price.